Hi, I'm Stephanie Laska. I lost 140 pounds and created Dirty Lazy Keto. Thanks for joining me here on the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy the show. Today's topic, I know you're excited about it. It is keto-friendly cinnamon roll recipe. It is a cinnamon roll recipe. You heard me right. You didn't stumble. You didn't go, wait. Keto-friendly cinnamon roll recipe? Yes, that is exactly what I said. I really do feel like losing weight on Dirty Lazy Keto doesn't mean you have to miss out on yummy foods, right? You know I love showing you my before and after pictures. That is a not really. No, I don't. I feel like it's still embarrassing to look at and emotional and hard. But here's a picture of me closer to 300 pounds, and here's me cooking today. Still the same smile, right? Still the same silliness, that's for sure. But the truth is, all along the way, I enjoyed yummy treats. I just had to figure out how to make them a low-carb, sugar-free, keto-friendly way. That was it. And it was a challenge sometimes, but a good challenge, right? Because it's fun to go in the kitchen and try to make new foods and new flavors. So trust me that I've been there, I've been on this journey, and I'm here to help you, support you on your weight loss journey as well. I do feel like keto-friendly recipes are fast and they can be easy to make. It just requires a handful of ingredients, right? You just have to cut to the chase and get to the heart of it, especially like this keto-friendly cinnamon roll recipe. So in case you're just listening and just walking around the house doing stuff, I'm going to also be describing in detail each step so that way you can just listen or watch whatever. I know some people are like, I don't want to look at you. That's fine too. I'm here to make it work no matter how you want to get this information. So if you do like topics like this, be sure to give a thumbs up, make a comment, because y'all know I love to give out prizes, right? And I do this live and later. So let's spin, shall we? So exciting. I love prizes. I used to be a teacher. I taught elementary school. Yes, I did. Ooh, it's a copy of the Dirty Lazy Keto Dirt Cheap Cookbook. I've not given away one of those in a while. This is where every recipe costs less than $10 to make for the whole thing. I know, right? So I'll give a free paperback copy away to someone at random in the comments. So the more you participate and the more you get involved, the higher your chances are for winning. And again, I'll pick one now and later. Like, I don't play around with my prizes. I'm pretty willy-nilly. So make sure you get in there. Don't be playing around. Don't be waiting. So today, number one, I'm going to show you how to make a speedy version of keto-friendly cinnamon rolls. And then I will give you some hints as to how to make one that's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more advanced. But both are delicious, if I say so myself. So first step, let's do the speedy recipe, right? You're like, give me the fast one. Give me the fast one. This is going to yield one cinnamon roll. Okay, that's all you need, right? And it's a good size one. So you'll be happy, I promise. So first up, what you need to do is gather all your needed ingredients. And so for me, today we're going to use an air fryer. It's right here. Make sure I plugged it in. Yep, all set to go. We are going to use 2 small bowls, okay? I got one here all teed up and ready, and another one off to the side here. So 2 small bowls. You're also going to need a plate. Let me pick this up, or any flat surface really will do. Some tin foil, just a sheet, any kind. You'll need a small spatula, little one, and some measuring spoons. Do you have everything you need? You're also going to need a pretty sharp knife for this. I should mention that. That should be the last thing. Because here's the thing. We want to be able to make this fast and easy with as little equipment as possible. Otherwise, instead of making a keto-friendly cinnamon roll, you might end up grabbing like a Costco muffin or something, like this that probably has like 50 grams of net carbs. What do you guys think? What would your guess be of a giant blueberry muffin or a giant cinnamon, apple deliciousness from Panera? It's outrageous. And I know you don't want that. So you want something quick and easy to meet a craving in the moment. I'm going to set those aside before the smell gets to me. So the ingredients that we're going to use today are a low-carb tortilla. Now feel free to use the brand and style of your choice. It can be a big giant one or a little tiny one, whatever brand and style you are comfortable with and that you like. That's really the bottom line, right? And so the grams of carbs will be different according to the style and brand you choose. This one here has 3 grams of net carbs, and it's by La Tortilla Factory. Tell me if you have a favorite in the comments, because I bet you do. Everyone's got a favorite. And we feel passionately about our tortillas. So make sure you recommend which one and why in the comments below. So that's one ingredient you're going to need. You're also going to need some cream cheese. Always buy the full fat dairy products. That goes for all keto-friendly, keto low-carb recipes. And some of the cream cheese have been pointed out by some friends in our community here. Some have more net carbs than others. Shocking! This is shocking information. Who knew? This one here that I'm looking at in my hands, it has less than 1 gram of net carb per 1 ounce per serving. So thank you. Goodness gracious, Philadelphia original cream cheese. I used to shop for my cream cheese at the dollar store because that's how classy I am. And let me tell you, there was some suspicious fillers in that bad boy, and I had a lot more. So thank you for that tip, listener and watcher and viewer. I appreciate that. So we're going to use some real deal cream cheese. We've got the low carb tortilla on hand. We'll also be using some ground cinnamon. You can grind it yourself if you're very fancy. I buy the cheap stuff in the little can because it's faster. I do get wild and crazy though lately with my vanilla. I get it at Costco, the pure vanilla extract. It has, you know, so much flavor. And I buy this giant gallon one since I use it so much in my recipes and in my yogurt. I use it a lot. Must be like part of my childhood thing with like needing vanilla deliciousness. Anyone else addicted to vanilla? Okay, you're also going to need some sugar-free sweetener. For this recipe, you're going to grab 4 packets. Now, I happen to grab some Splenda because I just happen to have those on hand, but whatever you like, whatever your preference is, you're going to need 4 of those. And a little bit of oil. Your preference. I use mine in a little spray bottle. Isn't that fancy? That way I can get it all over the place. But you can use regular oil too. Your choice. And last but not least, a touch of, see if I can find it here, heavy whipping cream. Just a little bit. Just a little dab will do ya. So make sure you have all these ingredients on hand as we get started and go through the directions. Who's excited? Raise your hand. Thumbs up if you are. Say yes, yes, I love cinnamon rolls and I miss them so. Okay, I'm messing around. Okay, directions. You ready? Should I put on an apron or something? We're getting serious. It's okay. I think I'll be all right today. I'll try not to be messy. So in the small bowl, we're going to start off with that. You're going to combine 1 ounce of cream cheese softened. You can see here that my cream cheese is already softened because it's been sitting out. And it's not much, right? 1 ounce. There we go. Ready to go. Then we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Get your cinnamon on. Dump that in there. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Yummy. Love vanilla. And then we're going to add 2 packets of sugar-free sweetener of your choice. Got it right over here. Now, I don't really like to tell people what sweetener to choose because, you know, I think we all have different preferences. And none of them are wrong or right in Dirty Lazy Keto Land. I respect your right to choose. I know it's like politics. I'm going to be neutral. I'll be Switzerland when it comes to picking out sugar-free sweeteners. I mean, there's pros and cons to all of them, right? Some taste better, some disgusting, right? Some are really expensive. Others are a lot easier to find. You know, so I also cook with all of them. I think you might find that interesting. I keep all of them on hand in my kitchen because sometimes a recipe I'm not like sure about, like especially when I'm developing recipes or it's my first time making something, I'll play around and use like the cheap stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the house brand from Walmart. I'll use whatever is least expensive, even if it's not my favorite, just until I get the recipe right. Because I might make a recipe 10, 12 times before I put it in a cookbook. You know, and that's expensive to use the quote unquote good stuff, right? Do you agree? Do you concur? Do you concur? I love that line. It's from, I think, Catch a Thief. Is that right? With, you know, that guy from Titanic. Do you concur? Okay, are you laughing or not? You're just like, hurry up, I'm hungry. All right, so I've got my little blended small bowl of the 1 ounce cream cheese, a 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon vanilla, and 2 packets sweetener, right? That was everything we did. It's all blended up, and it's kind of thick and creamy, almost like a margarine spread, but maybe thicker. Nice and thick, easy to move, well blended. It's kind of beige color. Smells good. Next thing we're going to do, moving on. We're going to get out our flat surface. This is so simple, you guys. It's so fast and easy. You can literally do this when you're half asleep in the morning while you're getting your coffee all poured, brewing. You're like, I need some cinnamon rolls to go with my coffee. And they'll be ready in no time. So get a flat surface, like a plate, and get out your folded piece of tin foil, any size. No stress, no one's going to see it. And you're going to put your tortilla down flat, just like so. Okay? And you are going to evenly cover this tortilla with your cinnamon mixture. And that explains why I use this little spatula thingy do. So no need to be fancy or pretty. Just slap it on there and then evenly spread it out like frosting. I'm very well versed in spreading out frosting. Anyone else an expert froster? Do you have lots of experience with cakes like me? I know. I remember taking cake decorating classes. I'd pretend that was a passion of mine just so I could eat cake. I remember going to like Michael's, like a craft store, and I bought all the stuff, right? All the bags and the piping. And oh yes, it's very important for me to learn how to make piping and icing and decorate cookies and cakes. And then I'd eat them all. Yes. So I'm quite the expert. Anyone else? Don't be shy. You can admit it. So there we go. I've evenly distributed, kind of like frosted my tortilla with our cinnamon sugary mixture. Simple, done. Are you done? Check. You tracking? So give me a thumbs up if yes. You're following along. And then here comes the very exciting part. Are you ready? I'm just teasing. You're going to roll this into a tube. So just start at one end, gently fold. You don't want to like smush it. And it will stick because remember all that frosting type stuff is going to help hold it together almost like a glue. So I'm just rolling it gently into a tube. It'll look almost like a, what is that, a taquito? Taquito? Here we go. You could just call it a day, and that could be your churro if you wanted, or your cannoli, if you will. But we're going to go just a couple steps further, because we really want that cinnamon roll experience, right? So now that you have your tube, it's on a piece of tin foil, you're on a flat surface. Next comes your sharp knife, and you're going to gently, don't go crazy now. You're going to gently cut your tube into 6 even pieces. Now, when I say gently, the reason why is as you're cutting, some of that goop might escape. And that can be tricky. You don't want that. That's the best part, yeah? So I'll go ahead and do that off to the side. Now, if any of your goop flies out, that's okay. You're just going to shove it back in there. No big deal. And as you're cutting your shapes, you may have to reshape them back into the wheels after you're done. And that's okay too. This is a low stress situation. This is a judgment-free zone. No one will laugh at your cinnamon roll rolls. And yes, they are quite small. You'll see that. You'll be like, wait a minute. That is the smallest cinnamon roll I've ever seen in my life. Don't worry, it's coming together. We got plans here. You can kind of spin your tube as needed to cut with your sharp knife. And again, reshaping as needed. Because it will kind of pinch and prod a little, even with your sharp knife. It's to be expected. No phone calls, please. I know some people are like, but it's not perfect. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to tip them back right side up, like I mentioned. If there's any goop that's spilled out, I will put it back in, but I didn't have any because my knife was sharp. And I'm going to put them on their side so they look like little teeny tiny rolls. Aren't they cute? Kind of spread them out a little bit on my tin foil. There we go. It can be any, cattywampus. It's all good. I really want to lick my fingers right now, but that's super unprofessional. So I'm going to reach down and use my towel. Does anyone have that problem but me? I know. Half the time I make a delicious recipe, I eat it before it even goes in the oven. Because I'm classy, right? Anyone else classy like that? Does anyone else struggle? Okay, yeah, sure. I'm the only one. Okay, now before we stick this in the air fryer, I'm going to instruct you to spray or lightly brush your miniature cinnamon rolls with some oil. Now you can use a little brush or a sprayer, oil of your choice, whatever. Melted butter, it's all good. Anything that's like a, you know, an oil, a fat, it's all the same thing. In my book, that is. Now we're going to put it in the air fryer, and we are going to cook this for 5 minutes at 400. 5 minutes at 400. So I'm going to put the tin foil and everything, surprise, surprise, into my air fryer. Ta-da-ta-da! If they fall over, it's okay. Pick them back up again. Make them pretty. And then we're going to stick it back in our air fryer, again, for 5 minutes at 400 degrees. There we go. And then we'll turn it on. Oh my gosh, it's not ready yet. We need 5 minutes. So some of you might ask, well, I don't have an air fryer. What do I do? Or I don't feel like using my air fryer. Fine. That's all good. You can just pan fry it. You can bake it, whatever you want. Just get it nice and pliable, mushy, warm. It's all good. You're not cooking anything, right? Because this is all like pre-cooked ingredients. You're just helping it kind of like meld together and a little bit of deliciousness. That's all. So while this is quote unquote cooking in the air fryer, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. 400 at 5 degrees. We're in business. Now we're going to go ahead and make our quick frosting recipe. Now this clearly is the best part and the most important. Should have started with the frosting. Do you agree? Raise your hand if you love frosting as much as I do. Give me a thumbs up, please. Leave a comment. Don't be shy. Remember, we've got a free copy of the Dirt Cheap Cookbook at stake for people that are commenting frequently. So make sure you are playing along and having some fun. All right. So here I've got another little small bowl. I mentioned we were going to use 2. In a small bowl, you're going to combine a 1/2 ounce of cream cheese, just a half. It's hardly much at all. It's really like a supersized thumb, maybe 2 thumbs worth, pretty small amount. It's going to be softened, and then you're going to add to it 2 more packets of sugar-free sweetener of your choice. 2 packets. Your choice. No judgment. Use whatever you like. And then you're going to add to this small little bowl of the 1/2 ounce cream cheese and the 2 packets sweetener. You're going to also add a little bit of vanilla, a 1/4 teaspoon, because you got to have it taste yummy. 1/4 teaspoon vanilla. And then the secret weapon. Oh, yes. It is the little tiny bit, 1/2 teaspoon of heavy whipping cream. 1/2 teaspoon. So pour that in there. 1/2 teaspoon of heavy whipping cream. Now you have all your frosting ingredients in one little bowl. You're going to blend that up. Blend it, blend it, blend it. Now don't laugh at me, but I'm going to use one of my teaspoons to blend because I don't like making a lot of dishes. Just get in there and blend it until everything's smooth, all your ingredients. You don't see them anymore. You want it to be nice and uniform, right? Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Until it looks kind of like this. Here's my Magic by Hollywood, right? You can see here that my frosting is pretty thick and fabulous. I'm going to stick my knife in it just to show you. It looks and it tastes and it smells exactly 100% guaranteed, just like the frosting you and I are used to from being obsessed in our previous life when we were addicted to carbs and sugar. This is just like the frosting that you would get in the can or the jar and eat with your finger. Just me? Okay, sure. All right then. Go ahead. Go ahead and laugh at me. Go ahead. I see you out there. No, I'm just kidding. So now we've got everything done, right? You've done 5 minutes. Let's pretend. Whoop, look at that. It's amazing. They're done already. 5 minutes there. We made our quick little sweetener, and we're going to pull them out of the oven, and they're going to look something like this. I know, by the magic of Hollywood and YouTube and Stephanie Laska and Drew Lazy Keto, I've already pre-done a little batch. That way you didn't have to wait. So what I like to do is I take my tiny little cinnamon rolls and I push them all together, just like a snail. And then I take my icing and put it all over the top. That's where the fabulousness comes in. This is all for me, people. All for me. And you know what's fun is going through this effort, making this, having a few minutes for yourself to make this fun little keto-friendly cinnamon roll recipe. For me, it kind of feels like the old days, like when I used to bake after school or bake for friends or bake for, special events. It makes me kind of feel like I'm still enjoying those things. I'm not missing out. I'm still having fun in the kitchen. I still get to have these kind of delicious recipes. My life isn't boring. I'm not deprived. These are the conversations I have with myself. It's like being at the mall and you pass the Cinnabon store and you're all, right? And it makes you insane. Well, now you don't have to. You can come home and say, sure, whatever. I can have my own keto-friendly, dun, 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 dun. I can have my own delicious keto-friendly cinnamon roll and eat it too. And guilt-free. I know, right? That's just for yourself. And it's already pre-done in little bites. And it's pretty. That's important. I think we eat with our eyes a lot, just like with our tummies and our cravings. And that's important. You want your food to be delicious and smell good and taste good and be fun and low carb and sugar free. We didn't use any white flour. We didn't use any real sugar. And it tastes so reminiscent of those cinnamon rolls at the mall. I know. Fun, right? So I know you're going to enjoy that. I like to serve these warm. And when you take them out of the oven, let them cool just a minute so you don't burn your hands off. Frost them as soon as you're feeling comfortable when they're cool to the touch or warm to the touch. And then go ahead and eat them. I think they taste better just right away. So fun, right? Simple. Check. Yay. Get gold star, gold star, gold star. Now, I did mention at the very beginning of all this that I would have maybe hints toward a fancier recipe if that was something you were hoping for. You're like, yeah, that seems kind of basic. I'm more of an advanced person. I know there's a lot of you out there that are expert cooks and chefs and bakers. Not just pretending, but you really have mad skills. So I do want to point you toward a fancier recipe if that's something that you would like to give a try. So look no further than the cover in the corner. It's kind of hiding, but it's up here in the corner of the front page. This is on the cover of the Dirty Lazy Keto No Time to Cook cookbook. So if you have this copy on you, this is the cinnamon roll recipe is already here included. Now, you guys know every recipe in this book can be made in 30 minutes or less, including prep time, which is crazy fast. And I want to share a few tips and tricks with you when you go forward and make this recipe from the cookbook. So I'm going to get super fancy right now, and bear with me, but I'm going to have actual slides. And I know this is very exciting and very stressful for Stephanie, but I'm going to try it. So please let me know in the comments. Say, is it working? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I want to give you guys some tips and tricks. Here we go. So hopefully you can see that. Put that in the comments. Say, I can see it. Oh my gosh. If you're watching the video, I can see it. Now, when you're making this recipe from the cookbook, I want to assure you or reassure you or calm you down that your dough is going to be very sticky. Do you see how sticky it is there in the picture? That's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't want you to panic about that and think you did something wrong. Now, even though it's sticky, when you go to spread it out into the shape that's required, and it's all there in the book, you're going to pat it down with like a spatula, and it's pretty easy to do. What I like to, a little tip for you is I roll out a piece of cellophane on the counter. You can see that kind of in the background. And whenever I give a measurement, like, oh, it has to be, this number of inches by this number of inches, I actually draw it or pre-measure it with a marker, like a Sharpie. And I'll do that on the flip side so it doesn't get on the food. But that way I'm able to make the right shape. That way the recipe calls for that. And in this particular instance, it's a rectangle, approximately size 10 inches by 6 inches and no more than 1/4 inch thick. And even though the dough's sticky, you can still do it, okay? You can do it. Okay, next picture. Tell me if it's working, because this is a new thing for me. Okay, now when you go to roll the dough, it's not as easy as the way we just did it with those tortillas. Remember with the tortillas, how simple it was? You just went, and then it was done. Well, when you have like a large loaf like this, the trick is to use that cellophane, that saran wrap that's on the floor, on your counter. You start with that underneath and kind of push it and guide it. Do you see what I'm saying? You kind of put your fingers under it and you start at one end and move slowly. and you start to wrap it, roll it, roll it, roll it. And before you know it, it is very cooperative. And you're like, no way, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then suddenly you have a nice shaped tube, just like you're supposed to. Okay, so even though the dough's, sticky like we planned on, even though it's shaped in a rectangle, you're still able to roll it just fine. Promise. So that's a good tip for you. Now, when you go to cut it into your cinnamon roll shapes, when we did our last experiment with the fast, speedy recipe, we just used a sharp knife. You can still do that here. Another pro tip for all you pros, is to use, can you guess what that is in the picture if you can see? Can you guess? Put it in the comments if you know the pro tip. The pro tip might surprise you, but it's actually dental floss. So dental floss you can use to cut a more precise shape of your cinnamon rolls. Now, yes, you'll still have a little bit of, disfigurement. It might change the shape slightly, but just go ahead and reshape those when you go ahead to put them on your parchment-lined pan. Now, you can see here, these look just like sticky buns or cinnamon roll buns. I'm showing you a picture of them spread out on the, on the cooking platter or on the cookie tray, whatever you call it. And I used whatever goop was left over and smeared it across the top so it's all perfect and fabulous. And after it's cooked, they do kind of grow together. And that's okay. That's normal. That's to be expected. That's part of the cinnamon roll process. Right? That makes it more fun and delicious. Now, if you didn't want that kind of situation, you could spread them out more in your pan, or you could even break the rules and do things a little bit more your way by putting them inside like a cupcake tin. That would work as well too. So those are just a few strategies to help you going forward while you are making the advanced recipe from the Dirty Lazy Keto No Time to Cook cookbook. So wasn't that fun? I know. It was very stressful for me. Ooh, I got to take a deep breath. I was a little nervous. I'm showing slides, I'm talking, I'm switching screens. I know I'm trying to man up and woman up and get a little bit more advanced. But keep in mind, you guys, if you want more keto breakfast recipes like this, like the ones I'm sharing today, I will link up a video right after this that's called 10 Lazy Breakfast Ideas. Right, lazy, because I like things fast. And it'll also really take it on a new angle where it talks about, is your breakfast causing you a stall? So I'll discuss some of the pros and cons of each lazy keto breakfast idea, and then maybe some warnings and caveats to go along with it. So it can be really helpful if you're having a stall. So what do you guys think? Are you excited? You're ready? Yes, yes, yes. Well, I hope that you got the big takeaway here. Dirty Lazy Keto, it is doable for everyone. It's fun. It's easy. And I don't want you to feel like you have to miss out. I mean, copycat recipes like this, like our keto-friendly cinnamon roll recipe, they exist for every craving. They really do. That's why I keep coming up with all these books. I'm like, ooh, pizza, grilled cheese, nachos, cheese sticks, onion rings, cinnamon rolls. I just keep coming up with everything that we all wish we could still, quote unquote, have. And then I try to figure out a fun, low-carb way to make it for you. Because I'm here to support you. I want to encourage you and keep you positive. So I'm here every week. Lots of new videos keep coming out. So come back. Don't go away. And I believe in you. I believe that you can do this. I believe transformation is possible. I don't think this is unrealistic. I don't think it's, some kind of pipe dream. Woo! I got icing flying all over the place, you guys, as I reach for my clapper. And I have a little icing in my finger, and I really want to lick it, but I'm going to hold back. So let me give you a huge round of applause, you guys. You can do it. You can do it. Clap, clap, clap. Give yourself a round of applause because you made it through a whole video, a whole nother lesson on making Dirty Lazy Keto fun. So good for you, you guys.